Some people are just born to play football. It's in their blood. It's not about the fans and the glory. They play it for themselves. But others, they are born to play for the people, to become leaders on the pitch, and to see their influence be spread outside of it. And today, I'm gonna tell you about one boy that was born to play for his people. Francesco was his name, and he would be born in Rome. Here and there he would show how talented he was, but the wake-up call for his parents would come one day at the beach. The little boy, only 4 years old back then, would see a group of older boys play and he would ask to join and be denied as he was quote unquote too small. Regardless, he would insist and eventually be given permission. Once he set his little foot onto the pitch, it would become clear that he was no ordinary young boy. As the family got back home, the father would immediately get him registered into one of the local youth teams, and from then on, his rise would be continuous and unstoppable. Going from team to team and progressing to the ranks, Francesco's love for football developed, and though at the time it was hard for kids to get to watch matches on TV, his love for AS Roma, that he had shared with his family since his birth, would grow larger and larger, and his one idol would be Giuseppe Giannini, the AS Roma captain at the time. Francesco would one day tell an interviewer about the one time he got to watch Roma at the stadium. He would say, "My father got tickets for us. I can still close my eyes and remember everything. Feeling the colors, the chants, the smoke bombs going off. I was still only a child, but being in the stadium around all of that lit up something inside me." As he grew older, the offers started to come, and as AC Milan proposed themselves to the family, Francesco's mom would send them away saying that if you're born in Rome, there's only two choices, red or blue, Roma or Lazio. But in this family, there's only one, and that's Roma. Still, as they waited, no offers would come, and as Lazio decided to approach them, Francesco would give in and accept their proposal. But then, as the clock ticked for the last few times, one man would show up to talk to Francesco. Gino Giannini. Yes, it's the second time you hear that last name in this documentary. Gino was the father of Francesco's idol and Roma's captain, Giuseppe Giannini. And besides all that, he was the man who held Francesco's ticket to his new life, the life of Francesco Totti, the new King of Rome. After only 3 years with the youth team, he would get his debut in Serie A, getting 2 minutes of playing time at 16 years of age, clearly more of a reward for his good performances at youth level rather than an actual attempt to insert him into the first team. The following season he would play in 10 matches but still never got to stay for the full 90. This season would be the prologue to his career, and the 1994-1995 season would be the first chapter, getting 7 goals and 6 assists in 25 matches, in which he would still barely ever get to play from start to end. Despite managing a goal or assist every 105 minutes over that season, incredible stats from a teenager. His future at Rome looked promising, and the following season he would get his first shot at continental glory, playing the UEFA Cup, where he would get 2 goals and 2 assists in under 400 minutes, more than a goal contribution per 90 minutes on the pitch at European level. As summer came around, he got yet another chance to show his talents to a wider audience, as he took part in the Under-21 European Championship for Italy, of course. Though he wouldn't get any playing time in the first round, he would be brought in for the first time in the semi-finals against France, where he would get the only goal and lead Italy to the final, where he would once again get the only goal, as the match against Spain would end on a draw. But regardless, the penalty shootout would see Italy come out victorious, as Totti earned his first ever international trophy. The following season would be tough. Carlos Bianchi took over as coach, and for some reason he seemed to be unable to see the value Totti brought to the squad, and he would decide to send Totti on loan to Sampdoria. Thankfully though, members of the AS Roma board at the time saw his value and stopped the transfer. So much was their interest in Totti staying that this whole deal would lead to Bianchi getting sacked soon after. Under the new coach Zdenek Zeman, Totti would be deployed into a playmaking role on the left wing, and he would adapt so nicely and show such responsibility over the team's form that soon after he would be given the number 10 jersey. Despite playing further from goal, this new role would also benefit him in terms of goal scoring, with Totti reaching double figures in the league for the first time, as Roma managed a 4th place finish. By the end, some would hail him as the best player in the league, and Roma saw that as well, handing the then 22-year-old the biggest responsibility of all by making him the club captain. Totti had achieved this dream sooner than he could have ever wished for. 1998-1999 might have been the start of his peak. He would get another chance at European football and once again managed an exceptional 7 goals and assists in 8 matches, as well as helping Roma once again manage to qualify for European football. At this point, it was time that his recognition materialized, and it did, in the form of an award for the best young player in the league. Over the summer, he would take part in his first ever international tournament, the Euro 2000, where, despite being mostly used as a bench player, he would be involved in about a goal every 100 minutes, as he helped Italy make the final, only to go out in extra time to France. With Totti pledging his career to helping Roma and slowly maturing into a strong leader, it seemed the club might be a few moves away from making history, and as Fabio Capello took over the role of head coach, it looked as if they had their eyes on the title, and by the 2000-2001 season, a team had been assembled around Totti containing some standout names such as Cafu, Walter Samuel, Batistuta and Emerson. Now in an attacking midfielder role, Totti masterfully led every attack, being awarded the Serie A Footballer of the Year award halfway through the season, as well as getting his first nomination to the Ballon d'Or. By the end of the season, he would have been involved in 21 goals just in the league, and he would finally see Roma be crowned champions of Italy as the year came to an end. The following season would have a great start as well, with Totti winning his 2nd trophy with Roma, the Italian Super Cup, and following the dream as Roma were now playing in the Champions League. Sadly, though they would end the group stage leveled on points with Liverpool, they would not make it to the Champions League knockout stage. Regardless, by the end of 2001, not only would he be Serie A Player of the Year once again, but he would also get a 5th place finish in the Ballon d'Or, the highest he would ever achieve. By the end of the season, Roma would go by what can only be described as heartbreak, as they would finish 2nd place in Serie A, only 1 point behind Juventus. 5 matches before the end of the season, they were actually in front by 3 points, but 2 draws against Milan and, most shockingly, Venezia would make their efforts meaningless. After a 2002-2003 season of substantially poor form from the team, they would sort of come back and once again manage the top 2 finish in 2004, with Totti getting his most ever league goals, a total of 20 this time around. Regardless of this good season, a new change was still in the cards as Capello would surprisingly leave Roma for Juventus, as the club was apparently in a lot of debt. This would lead Roma to go through a messy season with 4 different coaches. Once that was done with and Spalletti took charge, Totti would once again be deployed in a new role, closer to goal as a lone striker. This move might have seemed favorable to Spalletti due to Totti's age, who was about to become 30 years old. Regardless, Totti, who perhaps surprised this new coach with his exceptional form and fitness, would constantly drop deeper, which would lead pundits to jokingly refer to the 4-5-1 formation as a 4-6-0. Unfortunately, that year, Totti would fracture his left fibula and would be out for nearly 3 months, fearing he could miss the World Cup, but in the end, he would manage to come back soon enough to even take part in the Coppa Italia final, even though he would only come in as a sub to see Roma lose to Inter, who would also defeat them in the league, as Roma would only manage 2nd place. At the time of the injury, no one even considered the possibility that he would be back in time for the World Cup, but as Marcello Lippi assured him that if he recovered he would get to be part of the team, Totti became massively motivated to come and give his best, and he definitely champions despite the adversities he had to face. Once he was back at club level, he would get a career high of 26 Serie A goals, making him the Serie A top scorer and the winner of the European Golden Boot to no avail, as Roma would still finish 2nd place, an incredible 23 points behind Inter. By the end of the year, he would be named as the Serie A Player of the Year for the 5th time in his career. Sadly, once again he would be injured, this time rupturing his ACL and being out for the rest of the season. Despite this, as Roma would manage to win the Coppa Italia, an injured Totti would get the chance to join them in the pitch and lift the trophy, becoming Roma's most successful ever captain. Over the next few seasons, Roma would hit a low point in their form, eventually leading to Spalletti resigning and being replaced with Ranieri. Despite a strong start with 2 hat-tricks in the Europa League, Totti's season wouldn't be the best, as several injuries would stop him from helping his team, who would once again not only finish second to Inter but also lose to them in the Coppa Italia final, where Totti would get a straight red for kicking Balotelli, who supposedly kept offending the Serie of Rome throughout the match and telling Totti that he was finished. Totti not only said that he did not feel sorry for him, but that even Inter players were glad he did it, that some of them gave him high fives as he left the pitch. Make of that what you will, I don't know what to say. After this, there was a period where Ranieri seemed to be trying to replace Totti for a younger striker, with the captain spending several matches on the bench. Regardless, after some changes to the board, the coach would be replaced by the then Barcelona B coach Luis Enrique, who would move the new coach to leave after only 1 season, being replaced by the former coach Zdenek Zeman, who would move Totti yet again, making him play closer to the left flank, where he still wouldn't manage to get the results expected, leading to yet another coach resigning and another messy season where they'd once again make the final of the Coppa Italia only to lose to city rivals Lazio. At this point, there was not much left in the tank for the Roman legend, who had just turned 37 years old. His 2 seasons under Rudi Garcia would see him manage to qualify to the Champions League, where he would beat all the records in terms of longevity, becoming the oldest goal scorer at 38 years and 59 days. From then on, it was too much for the aging legend, who would finish the remaining of his career playing as a super sub, with highlights coming as he would get a standing ovation at the Santiago Bernabeu, as he came in for El Shaarawy as he tied Maldini for the most seasons played in Italy at 25. As he got closer to his last match, the 40-year-old would still manage 2 assists against Pescara before being ruled out indefinitely with a muscle injury. Coming back in time to tie Zanetti for the most Serie A matches ever played before finally, in a match against Genoa, coming in for Mohamed Salah to a standing ovation from the fans as the King of Rome finally stepped down from his throne. Totti was simply loved by everyone, no wonder he has been one of the most requested videos on the channel. Platini said he was an artist of football, Messi said he was a phenomenon, Ancelotti said he was immortal and a symbol of the sport, and the fans and media, well, they called him a lot of things actually. El bimbo de oro, l'ottavo re di Roma, el purpone, il capitano, il gladiatore. As I said, a lot of things, and by the way, forgive the accents, I don't speak Italian. Totti was incredible, versatile, adapting to the team's every need, also incredibly loyal and quite simply in love with not only the club but the city and the people of Rome. And to add to all that, it was a pleasure to the eye. Back heels, no-look passes, graceful on the ball, and of course, phenomenal sheeps. No one will forget those sheeps. And if we're mentioning some of the details that made him who he was, his celebrations, showing off messages on his t-shirts are just something else. Once he even showed a t-shirt which read, "Sorry for the delay," after he went on a goal drought. No matter how little sense of humor you gotta give him that one, that was just hilarious. And now, hopefully I've shown you a bit more about the King of Rome, and yeah, let's get into the ranking system. When it comes to finishing, it's hard to argue that he was great, but I felt like his numbers were a bit short for a perfect score. It's a 9 out of 10. His playmaking is impressive, but given it had to share the spotlight with his goal scoring, I feel it got a bit hurt by that, and it's only a 9 out of 10. His dribbling was mesmerizing, very classy, but I think it's tough to argue that other players brought more to the game in this aspect than Totti, being way more efficient. It's an 8 out of 10. Speed and physicality was great, but not exactly excelling in either. It's a 9 out of 10. Mentality is an easy one, a 10 out of 10. Longevity and adaptability is tough to judge since one was perfect, 25 years is just incredible, but we never got to see him in another team, which makes adaptability hard to judge. It's a 9 out of 10. I know many of you will come to tell me that he won the World Cup and this isn't fair, but take away the World Cup and he only won one major trophy. For his trophy cabinets, I can only give him a 5 out of 10. The icon factor is simple. He's very loved, but staying in one club prevented him from achieving another level of worldwide notoriety that perhaps he could have. It's an 8 out of 10. This totals out to 76 out of 90, putting him level with, of course, Del Piero, very expected to be honest, two legends who shared the stage of an entire generation of Italian football. It was just bound to happen. I'd also like to remind you to vote in the link in the description for how good you think Totti was. This is very important to the rankings and could be the difference between ranking him above or below Del Piero. I've also added Shevchenko's X Factor to the rankings. You voted him at the elite tier, though he nearly made it to the legendary tier. This places him at level with legends like Iker Casillas and Roberto Carlos, and yeah. That's it. This was Francesco Totti's career in a video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, that's it. See you next time. Bye.